Hi, everyone. So my name's Geoff McGill. I'm a customer engineer out on Google Cloud, specifically on the media and entertainment products and solutions. So if you haven't heard of Google Cloud yet, this is Google's public cloud offering. So Google's run many applications with over 1 billion users. There's over 7 different applications with over 1 billion users, and they've built up a lot of expertise running infrastructure. And then Google Cloud is the public-facing version of that. And so what Zync allows you to do is run rendering workloads on Google Cloud. And I'll show you today, but we have plugins built right into the tools that artists use and are familiar with, including Cinema 4D. So first, I'll just give you the quick history and then an overview about what Zync is, and then we can jump into a demo and show you what the actual solution looks like. So Zync was started a few years ago at a small studio out of Boston. There were a really small team of artists, and they could do really high-quality work, but they didn't have the capital needed to build an on-prem render farm. And so what they did is they built a tool that could use public cloud that would give them the scalability, the reliability of cloud, and then they just pay for what they needed and then spin down all the instances as soon as the job is done. It was then acquired by Google in August of 2014, and now it's part of Google Cloud. And they continue to invest, so now there's more engineers on it building new features and supporting additional platforms. And so what is Zync? It allows you to use the availability, the scalability, and the reliability of cloud. It's built by VFX artists for VFX artists, so that it means that it's really designed to consider the same sort of issues that you'd face when trying to move to cloud. Things like bandwidth limitations, pipeline integration, or asset transfer, and so on. So it's really designed to build or to work in your workflow and be as seamless as possible. So just a few notes, a few features on it. It's designed to really be easy to use, so you don't have to change your workflow at all. You can just easily start rendering on the cloud. But it's also an on-demand offering. So one of the benefits of Google Cloud Platform compared to some of the other public clouds out there is that you're billed by the minute. So if you run an instance, let's say for 30 minutes, then that's all you pay for. If you spin it down after 30 minutes, you only pay for 30 minutes and not round it up to the full hour like some of the other offerings out there. So this is especially good for rendering type workloads where if you have, let's say, 100 frames, you can spin up 100 machines to render them. If the render job takes like 40 minutes, then you pay for the 40 minutes of usage, and then it goes down, and you just really pay for what you use. So it's really cost effective. And it also allows you to work in your environment. So that's what we'll show you today, but it's built right into Maxon Cinema 4D. So it's really seamless to use. And then we have some other platforms we also support, like Maya, et cetera. And in all cases, it's designed to just be as easy as possible to use. And then you also get the visibility and control. So you get the same sort of visibility that you'd get from an on-prem render farm. You get really detailed stats about progress in the job. You get a billing breakdown. So I'll also show you some of that during the demo. And so there's other benefits in running on the cloud that you really get fast job turnaround time. So you don't have to wait in a queue for machines to become available. You can launch. You really get unlimited scale to launch jobs and render frames in the cloud. And so then the fast turnaround time also means that you're saving your artist time because they don't have to wait around. They get their jobs back quicker, so then they can focus on building the scene and not worry about waiting for jobs to come back. So I mean, really the value is that instead of buying an on-prem render farm, it allows you to take advantage of the cloud. You get unlimited scale, and then you only pay for what you use. So here's the pipeline. I mean, the basic idea is that we're only uploading your assets once. So Zync is really good about that. The way that it works is you set up the project, and then when you sync the files, it'll upload all of the files required to render the job in the cloud, but it won't upload anything else, and it'll maintain it in Google Cloud Storage in a bucket. And so that means that you can come in in the morning, for example, and sync all your files. It'll be uploading in the background, and you can work on something else. And then when it comes time to actually render the job, all you have to do is, all that will go up is the scene file. So it's really quick to get the files up, and then you can just start rendering right away. So it's really designed to be bandwidth efficient and only upload the asset once. And then, so you can use Zync just for rendering, for example, 3D rendering in Cinema 4D, but you can also use it like for just 2D rendering, but you can also use it for both. So if you have a pipeline where, for example, you render it in Cinema 4D and then you have a compositing application such as Nuke, we're really efficient in terms of how we use those assets. So they don't have to get uploaded twice. Both the whole pipeline can use the same assets. And so it's designed to work in your environment. I'll show you this more in the demo, but really there's very few configuration options. You more or less just have to specify your local drive and then how many machines you want to run. And that's all the configuration that you need to do. So you don't have to worry about setting up like cloud storage buckets or virtual machines or any of that sort of stuff. You just choose the number of machines and you launch your job. This is a screenshot of the web manager. So this is all web-based, so you can access it from any device, desktop or mobile. And it gives you really detailed information into every job, as well as a cost breakdown. And so these are some of the customers we're working with. So we're seeing really good traction, especially around gaming or television and advertising. What we're seeing is, we understand people have on-prem render farms, but they can use the cloud for burst capacity. Or, we've talked to some studios where what they're doing is, they may have on-prem hardware, but when it's time to refresh those devices, they're not refreshing them, and instead they're just starting to use more and more cloud instead. And then just one other note is, Zync is really turnkey, and it's designed for the smaller or mid-size studios. Google Cloud also has a lot of infrastructure that you can build rendering on top of. And so we have the larger studios are just building on top of Google Cloud if there's tools or something needed that that's not available. And on that note, security is normally a concern when you're dealing with studio content, but on the feature film side, we've worked with Disney and Marvel, and we passed a tier 1 audit on our infrastructure, so our cloud is secure for them to render jobs on, and we have lots of details around the audit. If anyone's interested, we can point you to that. Just the last thing before we jump into the demo. So if you want to contact Zync, you can go to zinkrender.com or you can email us. And it's also free to try, so everyone can sign up for $300 of cloud credits on Google Cloud, and you can use that towards Zync. So and 300 can get you pretty far. So it's free to try, and anyone can do it. So let me jump into the demo. What we did is I just recorded a video in case you never know with the Wi-Fi. So I'll run through the demo. We can talk through it, and I also have it installed. And if anyone wants to come up after and ask any questions or see it, locally, then we can do that. So, this is Maxon Cinema 4D, and what we'll do is we'll use Zync to render this robot scene on Google Cloud Platform. So when you start the application, you'll see up in the top there's a pipeline menu, so that's where you can find all of the Zync options. So if you click the pipeline, you see Google Zync, so it's built right into the application. From there, if you don't have an account, there's the option you can set a new account up. There's also tutorial videos, so it's, if you want to see how to use it specifically in Cinema 4D, you can check these tutorial videos. Or what you also get is you get the option to render a job. So you see the render with Zync option. So if we start that, then you can actually start a job. And so this is the submission box, and this is all the options that you need to set. And so it'll read the output path from your Cinema 4D scene file. And it's really designed to be as artist-friendly as possible, so you don't have to change anything about the way you work. It's going to read from the scene file, and all you have to do is really specify like the project that it's associated with and how many machines you want, and then you can launch it. So to see the image path is where the rendered frames are going to be sent back. So that's the path on your local machine that they're going to be sent back. And then this is, if you select this, the upload only option. So what that allows you to do is sync all of your files ahead of runtime. So when you come in, you can select upload only. You select the storage bucket that you want to, or the project that you want to associate those files with. And then once you run that job, all that will happen is all the files required to render that scene are going to get uploaded to Google Cloud so that they're already in the cloud when you want to launch an actual job. So if we go ahead and save this scene, and then we'll launch the render and show you what it looks like. So you click launch the job with Zync. Oh. And then there's a client application that gets installed that gives you a web console. Actually, that was just uploading the files. So we just uploaded the files and didn't actually launch a job. But so what it does though is here's the client application. And so what it does when you do the upload only and it uploads all the files, then right before runtime, it'll just check the Cinema 4D scene file. If everything's available in the cloud, then that's the only thing that goes up. So it's really efficient in how it uses bandwidth. And then you can start the job. So here's where you can control how many machines you want to render on. So each project can have up to 100 machines, and you can have up to 500 total. And you can select what machine type you want, but we have 64 core machines, so you have access to 32,000 cores to render jobs. So in this example, we'll just use 10 machines, and then when you select the drop-down, these are all the different types, so you get standard machines or preemptible. So preemptible are less, cost a lot less, but there's a chance that they'll be preempted, and then you'll have to render the frame again. So you can choose from 8, 16, 32, or 64 core machines. And then it also gives you the cost associated with running that machine per hour. But and keep in mind, this includes everything, all the licensing costs and everything. So that's all bundled in. And this is shown as a per hour, but if you don't run it for the full hour, then you don't have to pay for that, really just for what you use, like I said before. So you'll see It'll give you an estimated cost. For example, if you have 10 machines, 64 core machines, and it's giving you $31 cost. And then we also have the cost calculator. So we also have this cost calculator. It'll open up a web UI, and what it does is, here it is. So this will let you create a pretty accurate estimate for how much any one job will cost. So what you do is you can select the VM class, whether it's regular or preemptible, and then you set the machine type, you set the host application, and so then here, what you can do if you render some test frames, then you say how many test frames you rendered and how long it took, and then you give it your total frames, and it'll extrapolate the cost of the entire job. So you can see it estimates this to cost $14 to run that job. So you can get a detailed cost estimate if you want it before you even launch a job. So then if we go back into Cinema 4D, so you select the cloud storage project that you want to launch the job on. You select, in this case, like the frame step and the chunk size as one, so meaning each machine will render one frame, and then you just launch the job. And now it's been submitted, and so you can go into the client application, and you can get the detailed information about the job status, where the job is at, how many frames are being rendered. If we open that up. So this is what the management, the web-based management console looks like. So we just submitted this job, and then there was a job that was submitted just a little bit sooner just to get some more interesting data. And so you can see in here, down on the bottom, you get the status of all of the machines. So you can see how many machines are running for this job, what they're currently doing. And then in this other menu, you get to see all of your frames. So you can see the progress of each of the frames. And then you can also get a detailed log file for every single frame. So if you open that up, so you'll see also everything's been repathed to your local drive. So all of the cloud paths mirror what you get on your local machine. So this shows the output path. So this is where it's saving the rendered frames on your local machine. And then you also get the options. You can use this to manage your job. So you can restart the job. You can cancel it. You can also change it. So if you want to bump it up and add more machines to it, you can do that in here as well. So then if we open up that path, you can see all of the frames that have been rendered already. And so if you open those up, you can see the job, all the frames that have been completed as part of the job so far. So then, just while the rest of the job goes, we'll show you some other features in Zync. So you see the menu. So you can see it's 14% complete. And then if we go up to the menu, there's other options. So the My Account, you can see in here any custom plugins are listed in here, but you can also manage users. So if you want to create users, you do it in this UI. And then you can get usage. So this is the billing breakdown. So you get really detailed information about every single job. So if you want to, you can export this information as CSV if you want to use it to bill back your clients. and you get a breakdown of every job and then also by user to see how much money everybody's spending. So you can manage users and then also manage your projects. So these are all the projects that you have stored in Zink. In here you can use this to delete projects, for example, if you no longer want them in there. And you can also see the disk usage, so you can see how much storage each of these projects are using. And then what you can also do is browse the files. So this is browsing all of the files stored in Google Cloud Storage for every project. And you'll see it mirrors the path on the local machine. So it's really designed to be as artist-friendly as possible. And so for support, you can go anytime. We have documentation available at doc.zinkrender.com, and then you can also contact us with any questions. So if we go back to the main page for that job that we were running, so you can see now it's at 32%. And so as the frames are finished and ready to go, you can see they get added to the local drive. So if we open it up, now there'll be more of the scene will be rendered. And I mean, that's it. So it's really just designed to be as user-friendly as possible and to allow you to render on Google Cloud Platform. Any questions? So if anyone wants to try it, it's available to download. If you have any questions, feel free to come up and find me after. Thank you.